I know, I'm sorry. Okay. So I know that you might be very hungry at this time, so I promise you that I will be very fast. And my name is Andrea Saccà. I'm from Italy, living in Canary Islands, so I was expecting a good weather here as well, but it was not so. And I'm the founder of BHoost, a hosting company with a focus on performances for e-commerce platforms like Magento, Shopware, and Cilius and PrestaShop. And during the last 12 years, since 2008, I was working with Magento platform as a front-end developer. And I created also the Italian community of Magento called Magentiamo. But then during the last 2 years, I switched the focus and I'm dedicating all my time to hosting and providing cloud solutions for merchants and for agencies. And, oh, I'm sorry, the image was still loading. So, Julia, don't worry, it was not a big problem. So, I divided the presentation into 3 parts and a short introduction. Then we will take what I call the journey of performances optimization, because I love a lot to travel with my motorbike, and I find a lot of similarities between traveling and optimizing our website performances. And then we will end up with a case study that we create with an e-commerce created by Interactive4, and with our help, they put online on the cloud. So let's start playing a quick video showing that I found on YouTube, telling what speed is. So can you please put the music on? Sorry, guys, but today it seems we have a lot of problems of connection. No, never mind, this was another joke. So we have no video, but this put me, and maybe also you, in a very stressful position. And have you ever wondered how stressful it is for your customers mobile delays? So based on, according to a study made by Ericsson Consumer Lab, the stress caused by mobile delays is comparable to the stress caused by watching a horror movie, beside then solving a math problem, but this is another topic, of course. And so it's very important for us to understand these small words, mobile, which is very, very important, because 73% of online sales are made from mobile, actually. So it's very important to understand that we need to optimize our website, our e-commerce, for all the people. And all the people means that every person browsing and surfing your website is using a different device with different conditions and with different connection. So maybe you can surf internet or buy online in the metro with a slow connection, or you can buy at your home with a Wi-Fi. So every person is unique, and we need to optimize the website for each of our customers. So I think that customers is one of our first priority. So about the journey, I like to start with the first step, which is awareness. I like the term awareness because it starts with some questions. Every time you do a travel, a journey, or you set some goals of your personal life or business life, you need to ask yourself some questions. And when you want to start optimizing your e-commerce, you need to understand before what is speed. So any one of you here in the room have watched the Netflix series about Spotify called The Playlist? Raise your hands. No? Okay. So I don't want to make a spoiler, but there's a small moment, which is not very important for knowing all the story, where the SEO is on a quest with the CTO that he wanted to play the playlist below 0.2 seconds, what he called the magic number, because he wouldn't accept, and based on some studies, the human mind wouldn't accept a delay higher than 0.2 seconds, okay? So it's very important to understand that our users now are used to do everything very, very fast. Watching a video, listening to a song, and also, of course, shopping online. So to give a definition to what speed is, I found this quote that I really like, and the speed is not a single moment in time. We started talking about performances and speed optimization in 2008 with a book from O'Reilly, And at that time, speed was just measured by time. So it was just the time to connect to the web server. And when the web server responded, it was that was speed for us. But then it evolved a lot. So at the moment, it's not more. We don't talk about speed just for measuring the time, but it's an experience that cannot be measured by a single metric. So now that we understand that speed is more an experience that we need to give to our customers, we need to understand why our performance is important. And I collected six reasons, so I'll go deeper into each one. First one, I said several times during these few minutes, we have to put our customers at the center of our strategy. So the first reason why speed matters is the user experience. Because, for example, a site might be fast for one user or slow for another, based on different conditions and different devices. Or, for example, two websites may finish loading at the same time, but one may seem load faster. Or a site may appear load quickly, but respond slow to interaction. So, and how can we measure all this kind of this experience of the user? We do it answering to those three questions. This is a screenshot from Adi Osmani, who was working in Google. And so how do we answer to those questions? So the first moment that happened when a user opened a website, he sent a request to a web server, and the web server give back an information. So this is the first byte, and this is the first metric that is Google used to understand if your user experience is very good. Then there are several metrics that later on the days John will explain very good, talking about Core Web Vitals. And another question that Google used to understand if the navigation is smooth and it's good is it useful? So after the user open a website, does the information that it's loaded is useful to for the user? The user can interact with it, and in the end, is it usable? So I can have all the page loaded, but the user can interact with the page. So answering to all those questions with metrics, we can understand if the user has a good or bad user experience. The second reason why speed matters is the bounce rate. Bounce rate is the number of users that jump into your websites and then leave. So the higher this number is, the worse experience they are facing. So based on a study made by Google, the probability of bounce increases 32% when the page load time goes from 1 second to 3 seconds. And it increased to 132% when the page load time go up to 10 seconds. So it's very important to optimize the websites in order to avoid that people abandon your e-commerce. The third reason why speed matters is the search engine optimization. So we all know the importance of SEO. We invest a lot of money to rank our keywords in top of every search engine, like Google, for example, which is the main one. And how Google send information to the search engine in order to rank better the pages, it uses what he called the page experience. And there are 4 main points about this page experience that he calculates to rank better the pages. And one is the mobile friendly of the page. So if your website is mobile friendly or not is a good point. Then the browsing is safe. Does it use a secure protocol? And there are no intrusive interstitial content inside the page. Then, a part of that, in 2020, Google introduced the Core Web Vitals, which are a set of metrics that in the beginning were only 3, and now are evolving. They are more than 3, and we will see in a bit, that are measuring the loading time, the interactivity, and the visual stability of the page. And speed is now used also as a ranking factor. There are several official communicates, I don't know how to say, from Google that he says that now speed is very important for ranking, both in mobile and in desktop. And even if Google still seeks to rank pages with the best information overall, if you find 2 pages with a good content, it would rank better the content with a good landing page experience, which means that if your website is faster, it has more possibilities to rank better in the SERP. The fourth point why reason matters is the advertising performances. We are spending a lot of money every day in advertising, and we have to understand that everything that I'm telling you today is connected. So if we spend money to send traffic to our website, it's very important to understand that Google knows that if your page is low, and it would, how to say, increase the price of your campaigns, and of course you lose money because people come to your website and then they abandon your website. And how do Google knows this? He created this score called quality score, which is made up 3 principal metrics, which are landing page experience, ad relevance, and expected click-through rate. And landing page experience weighed 39% on this quality score. And one of the suggestions to improve the landing page experience is obviously improving the page speed. Okay, so it's very important to increase the user experience and the speed of your website, to also avoiding to lose budget when we are doing campaigns. The fifth reason why speed matters is the conversion rate, and just a single, a simple improvement of 0.1 seconds of speed increase on your website can bring you an increase in conversion rate of 8.4%, and can increase also the page views per session and also the average order value. This is a study very interesting from Google called Speed Impact, made on 40 e-commerce of different areas like luxury, retail, and travel. And this is the results of a single, simple improvement. And based on this study, they figured out also that there was an increase on the funnel progression rate. It means that just improving as 0.1 seconds the speed of your website, it increases the journey, the customer journey on a whole website. So it's very important to pay attention to speed of your e-commerce to increase your sales. And putting these into numbers, we made like a calculator that can help you to understand better that if you have, for example, an average site speed of 6 seconds and a monthly visit on 150,000 and average order value of 75 euros with a conversion rate of 2.5%, you can get, with this heuristic method based on these statistics, an impact of $270,000 in your annual revenue, which is a lot of money. So it's important to understand that speed matters, and you need also in your company to create a culture about speed, because it impacts very deeply into your pocket. And this is another method which is not based on statistics like the previous one. This is called mobile conversion rate, the relative mobile conversion rate, which was introduced by Google in 2020, and which is a ratio, how to say, to calculate this one, you have also a tool that you can see into this page. You connect with your analytics data, and you can calculate how much you can how much can increase your revenue just simply optimizing some metrics of your e-commerce speed. The sixth reason why speed matters is the sustainability. Last month, I had a talk in Spain, in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, about how green is your website, because in Las Palmas is a very nomad city. There's a lot of digital nomads, and there are conferences like this, but more specific for people traveling the world and having an impact. So I wanted to study a bit more about sustainability and the impact of internet. And this study conducted me also to discover the Sustainable Web Manifesto, which I totally recommend you to visit. The website is sustainablewebmanifesto.com. And there's a lot of statistic about how internet pollutes. And if the internet was a country, it'd be the 7th largest polluter, just like the entire United Kingdom. So it's very important to understand that every action that we made every day on social media, on online shopping, on YouTube, and everything we do has a huge impact on the planet. So after studying this and understanding this, I get involved into the sustainable web design practices. And one of the best practices for creating more sustainable websites is, of course, web performance optimization. Why? Because if a website runs faster, it took very few time for the user to load the page, and need to consume a very low amount of data. Okay, so you can say yes, but it's a very small amount of data, but do you know how huge is the amount of data that we consume every day? So it's very important to pay attention also to these 4 principles. The first one is the web performance optimization. The second one is the content findability, because imagine if you have a website and the user don't find the information he needs in few seconds, he needs to stay longer on the website. So it's good to have a website optimized for each user. Also, the usability is very important, because if he doesn't find all the information that he needs to visit more than one page. And in the end, one of the other principles of sustainable web design is to put your website on green web hosting. What green web hosting is a hosting that runs on green data centers. We all know that a hosting is basically a computer, and to run a computer you need a lot of energy. And also to cool down a computer you need a lot of energy. So it's important to find hosting providers that run green energy, okay, that run on data center using green energy. And there's a directory called the Green Web Foundation, where you can find all the green hosting providers. Also, Google has a very good impact report, and they plan to go totally green till the end of 2030. And I'm happy that our company was listed some weeks ago on this directory. So if you want to make a little step, you can go on this website and check if your website is green. So closing the parenthesis about sustainability, which was the 6th reason why speed matters, we go now deeper into the preparation of this journey. So it's very important that we understand what we need to bring with us in this travel, in this journey of speed optimization. So I think that we need 3 main stuff that we need to bring with us: latest platform and technologies, good UI and UX best practices, and fast and reliable cloud hosting. And this is, for me, the perfect recipe of good speed optimization. So talking about latest platform and technologies, I recommend you to have a look about the latest protocols like HTTP2, which is not so new, but the newest one, the HTTP3, which is way faster and secure. And you can use, of course, if you use platform based on PHP, the latest technologies like PHP 8.1. So don't use always the latest, the oldest technology just because it works. So stay always up to date with your technologies, because new technologies means that your website is safer and, of course, faster. And then many other things that you can consider when you are talking about your e-commerce. For example, PWA for your front end. They use API and to create an headless solution. And there's several tools and PWA software, no software, sorry, that you can use, like, for example, Vue Storefront and other that you can use. But I guess Vue Storefront is the most used at the moment. And then you can also use many other in modern technology that works inside your browser, like BF Cache, that cache all the information that a user does every moment. So it creates cache when you go back and forward, so the navigation is smoother and faster. And you can use also in other technical stuff like early hints and priority hints to say to the page what contents should load faster and before other contents. So, and another one, one of the latest technology that I love for Magento is the template IVA that you see also a sponsor here, and you will have also a speech from Willen later on the day. Talking about UI and UX best practices, you should definitely optimize your images. You need to use modern web images format like AVIF or WebP, but they are not so popular. They are not so, how to say, tested for all the browsers. So you need also to understand which browser needs can read those kind of images. But with some CDN like Cloudflare, you can optimize your content very easily and very fast. Another best practice to increase the experience for your user is the lazy loading content. Or you can simply tell your website to load the content just when the user is watching it, okay? So, for example, the image you were seeing at the beginning was loading, and this is a lazy loading techniques, but lazy loading should be used very careful because, for example, on the first content that the page print on your website, it's very important that you don't lazy load this content because the metrics can be different. So there are many things that you can do to optimize your front end, but I think during the day there will be more technical speeches talking about this. And then you can optimize also web fonts, and because also web fonts has a huge impact on your page load if you load from Google Font or other systems. So it's very important that you know that also your front end need to be careful crafted for your e-commerce. And last one, of course, you need also a very good cloud hosting solution because your hosting should run very complex database queries, serve files, creating cache, and serve a lot of customers. So you need a lot of RAM, a very good hard disk, because even if we talk about cloud, but the cloud is always in some physical place, you know. So you need to understand that your hosting is not just a commodity, you need it to run faster your website. And then talking about hosting, you can also use a CDN or other kind of compression like gzip and Brotli and some kind of cache that use like Varnish, for example, for Magento that all developers here, of course, use like reverse proxy. So after that we know, we are now aware of what speed is and why it's so important, and we know what we need to bring with us, we need to understand and we need to measure the speed of our e-commerce. Or we already built our e-commerce, or we need to launch our e-commerce, we need to measure the performances. So how and what do I need to measure? I love this quote from Peter Drucker: you can't improve what you don't measure. So even if you launched your e-commerce a few days ago, or you launched a lot of years ago, you need always to check and improve your performances. And how you can do it? Just starting with a simple measurement. But before talking about measurement, we need to understand that there are two kinds of tools, or two kinds of measurement that you can do. The first one is called field data. Field data are real user behavior, okay? So those kind of tools can understand what real users do during the navigation of your websites, compared to lab data, which are tools that can use simulations, like for example, Lighthouse, and they run simulation of your website on very specific environment, okay? So for example, they use a very slow connection, 3G, and with a very old device, and they use always almost the same amount, the same stack to test your website. So compared to the real user behavior, that sometimes is quite different from the tool that you can use. Okay, because maybe the Lighthouse that you can run, for example, on Google PageSpeed, that now integrated Lighthouse Core into the tool, they use very old devices and very slow connection. So you can see one kind of result there, but then if you put like a real user monitoring into your website, you discover that nobody uses those kind of devices and they use only modern devices. So it's very important to understand this difference. And for example, talking about Google, Google, how do he knows the real user behavior? He do it with the Chrome UX report, and the 65% of the people browsing the web are using Google Chrome. Google Chrome save all the information, all the data that all the browsing information from each customer, and then he creates a data set. And this data set reflects how real-world users navigate and use web pages. And with those information, what Google does, he sends all this information also to the ranking tool and use all this information to rank you better or worse into the search engine. So it's very important to understand that Google created Core Web Vitals for this reason, to create a standard of quality of web browsing, let's say. Lab data and field data can be different, as I said before, because, for example, as you can see here in the bottom, the largest contentful paint, in this case, simulated with lab data, with Lighthouse, for example, was 3.0 seconds, but then the real user experience, the average was 1.8 seconds. What does it mean? That one method is wrong and one is correct? No. The lab data is a very useful tool that we can use to have to start our journey of optimization. But then, after we launch our website, it's important to understand the real user behavior. Okay. So, excuse me, just a second. I drink a bit of water. So, talking about Core Web Vitals. Anybody of you have ever heard about Core Web Vitals? Raise your hands. Okay, many of you. So, since last year, I started having a deep interest into Core Web Vitals, and what I figured out that all the blogs around were talking about Core Web Vitals, just talking about these three metrics. And the largest contentful paint, which measure loading, the first input delay, which measure the interactivity of the page, and the CLS, the cumulative layout shift, which measure the visual stability. But this was in 2020. And in 2022, these metrics are not 3, they are 6. And then there are plenty of other metrics that are still experimental, but Google will use it and will implement and we use for Core Web Vitals also to send signals to the ranking factor. John later will talk about Core Web Vitals in a more deeply way, but what I want to tell you is that everything is evolving, so we need to adapt to this evolution. And it's very important that we understand that we don't need to optimize our website just one time. It's a process, and we need to do it constantly, okay? So tools that you can use to measure your website speed. The main one is Google Page Speed Insights that now integrated also Lighthouse, and you can see also inside all the Core Web Vitals metrics if your website has enough data, of course. You can use GTmetrix or Web Page Test or Pingdom, which are the most famous tools, or for the more technical, you can use the Core Web Vitals extension or developer tool in Chrome, which give you plenty of tools that you can use to understand and fix your website performances. About real user monitoring, that we call also RAM, you can use some other kind of software because, as I said before, Google can give you a panoramic of the behavior of the user using Google Chrome. But a lot of people, the 35% of people, are not using Google Chrome. So it's important, if you want to optimize your website, to use also one of these tools, a real user monitoring tool, that can check the real user behavior of all of your customers. You have just to install a script into your websites, and it can track more than 30 metrics, and you can understand the value of speed. I recommend you these three tools: RAM Vision, which is built by Erwin Hoffman, which is one of my page speed guru that maybe is here in the room, but you can find him also in the event. Debug Bear, which is another great tool that I tested, and Speed Curve. But a part of front end and layout and what we can check with all this kind of tool, is very important to understand that sometimes the bottleneck, the problems are not on your front end. They are inside your platform or inside your server. And how you can understand where is the bottleneck, you need to use another kind of tool that we use in our hosting company, and like also a lot of web agency uses, that are APM, Application Performance Monitoring, that connect directly into your web server and can understand, you can understand what are the problems connected to your plugins, for example, or to your server. And in this way, you can find all the problems and you can go deeper and fix all the problems. Because maybe you spend a lot of time in the category page understanding why it's not loading. You optimize all the metrics, all the stuff, all the images, and everything, but then it's still it is still slow. So with a tool like New Relic or Datadog, you can go deeper and you can understand many things, and you can find, for example, that there is some plugin that is doing too many queries into database, or other kind of very technical stuff that you cannot understand with other tools like Lighthouse or other tools that check only front end. And what we are doing in BHoost is creating a dashboard that can include all of these things, because we offer hosting, but what we want to do is to give also a system that can give you a panoramic about your performances, and also giving you all the tools that you need to manage your CDN and other kind of stuff. So we are almost at the end of the journey. So we know why and what is speed, why it is important. We know what we need to bring with us. We know how to measure speed, and now that we know how to measure all the problems, we need to go deeper, and we know we have to go to optimize it. And what do I need to fix? So here we have few methods to optimize your performances, and we call it performances optimization budget. So it's important to set goals also on your performances optimization strategies, because you cannot just say, I want the website faster than my competitor, because it would be like a lot of merchants, of course, done. But we need to understand that there are basically three main topics that we can touch talking about performances. The first one is we can set goals about milestone timings. The second one, we can optimize the quantity of the weight. We can optimize the weight of our pages, or we can just optimize the point of some tools like Lighthouse. But how we can set correct goals to optimize our performances? We need to do it, in my opinion, what the method I use is using smart goals. Smart goals, you can use it for everything in your life also. If you want to reach some goals, which is not just optimizing your website for speed, it's a method that you can use to set goals with, and they need to be very specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. Talking about what we can do with our performances, we can set, for example, a milestone timing goal, and we can say, I want to reduce the average page speed of the site speed going from 10 seconds to 8 seconds by the 30th of December of this year. So as you can see, it's very specific goal that we need to reach by a very specific time frame of a specific page, for example, the home page. Then we can also, as I said, we can optimize the quantity of the page, of the weight of the page, because as a study, maybe I skipped the slide, based on this study made by Web Almanac, the average web page size is 2.3 megabytes. And as you can see from the graphic here, the page since 2014, the page weight increased a lot. So it's very important to optimize also the weight of the page. So we do not just need to optimize like every single stuff, but we need to understand that every single thing that we put in our website has a weight, and we need also to reduce this weight to improve our performances. And then you can also use improve Lighthouse Core from on mobile or desktop. And to make all the goals achievable and realistic, I recommend you to use the 20% rule. So, for example, it would be unachievable to say I want to reduce the page weight, for example, the load time from 10 seconds to 1 second in just 1 month. Okay, so I recommend you to do it step by step. For example, you can say, okay, we do it, how can we reduce the page load time from 10 seconds to 8 seconds? And you can achieve this more, a biggest possibility that you can reach this goal, okay? So after we have done all this journey and we optimize our websites, as I said before, it's important to check and monitor day by day the improvements that we have done, because I think that we are all responsible in speed optimization. So it's not just the technical team that is responsible for speed, it is also the marketing team responsible. Or, for example, the store manager also is responsible, because, for example, if we have the faster website on the planet, but someone put a very big image in on page, like, of course, it happens every day, it can destroy a job that we have done for months. So it's very important that we add a culture of speed optimization in our companies, and that each part of the e-commerce ecosystem understand that speed is important, and that everyone need to do some little stuff to achieve our goals. So just to sum up what we learned today, speed is not just a single metric like time. Speed is very important because it's user-centric. So when we talk about speed, we need to think about our users, not just the metrics that we are looking at. We need to talk, speed is about users. So, and user as the one who give you the money when they buy online. Speed is different from mobile and desktop, but now 73% of the sales made online are made from mobile, so it's very important to optimize your mobile. And speed is measurable in lab and in real user behavior, so use more than one tool to measure your website performances. Speed can increase your revenue, so with a lot of data, you can understand that you are leaving on the table a lot of money every day. And speed needs to be promoted in your company. This is the recipe that I guess is important to reach the goal of a fast website, good new technology, UI and UX best practices, and a good hosting. And to end up the presentation, I prepared this case study, which is a wglcandles.com, which is a project built up by Interactive 4. And is a Magento 2.4.5 created by the Oscar team, which is here. And if you want to join to say something about the project, it would be cool. And it's a project made with the front-end Eva, that you can also find the founder and the team here today. And Oscar and the Interactive 4 team wanted a fast hosting solution, and they called me to help them to create the correct environment for this project. So what we have done, it was, of course, understanding the needs of this project. So they needed an e-commerce for... The project is from German, okay, yeah. So they need a hosting very close to the place of the merchant. So we choose a data center in Frankfurt with all the requirements for the Magento platform. And then, of course, we needed to make some fine-tuning to the platform for adjust the requirements to the EVA templates. And then, thanks to the Interactive 4 team, my team in Boost, we find out the perfect combination of ingredients to create a good environment. And you can check also the speed and the website on various tools and check if it's really faster. So Ignacio, if you want to say something about our collaboration and how...
Yeah, I want to comment that the first time that we called Andrea, he was providing a lot of things to do it inside of the project, okay? But the impressive way of the impressive number of this project, we established the deploy from they prepare the infrastructure in less than 4 hours because the systems are totally prepared to host the project that we have here. And finally, the project that we did it in totally 4 weeks of the process. From we started at the beginning of the November, and finally we have the go live of 7th of December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
So it was.
Thank you for your work and for your hosting.
Yeah. So we finished, and this is one of the pictures from my travels in motorbike that I took last year from Gran Canaria to Italy, and way back, of course. And improving your website is like a journey, and to reach the destination, you just need to start with one step. Okay, so thank you very much.